Well, thank you very much. To be completely honest with you, when Caesar and John asked me to do this, I saw the other people that were going to be coming up here doing presentations, and I was kind of humbled by it. You know, Donna, very accomplished over there, being up here with the mayor, and the other gentleman from the Mercedes dealership, and then I started thinking to myself, I just run a very small little 3-store rental chain, rental franchise, and I've been doing it for 25 years. And when I was asking Caesar, why, what do you need from me? And after he explained it to me, it made perfect sense. I'm sure there might be a lot of you people out there that are in the same situation I was back in 2004, 2005. I owned my own business. I worked very hard for it. I've been doing it for 25 years. I started out working in the store in May of 1990 as an entry-level position. 25 years later, I now own the franchise that I worked in and built it up from there. And when I first started, thank you. And this is all having to do with the proper way to, in my opinion, I market to the Hispanic community and the Hispanic customers. What I have found over the years is they're very, very loyal, very family-minded and orientated, and I think that's why when I ran and tweaked my business to get that message across, my business started to increase. One of the things that I did want to say is now I have customers that are the children of the parents that I was doing business with when I first started in May of 1990. And that goes to what I was saying with very family, very loyal. If you do right by the customer will always be loyal to you, and they'll just tell everybody else, and then before you know it, it's growing. To tell you a little bit about what I was doing, when I bought the business down here, the first store down here in 2004, when I took it over myself personally, I was in the store working, and I happened to be looking around and paying attention to all the people that were coming in and out of the business, the people that were calling the business on the phone, and I noticed that there was a good percentage of them were Hispanics and spoke Spanish, and I had no representation, no marketing. I had no way to get the message out to them. So what I started to do at first is I kind of learned by trial and error. All right? I did not have the advantage of this type of a seminar. In fact, I was doing it for 2 or 3 years before I searched for this type of seminar. I found one, I got on a plane, I flew to Dallas, Texas for 3 days to attend a seminar exactly like this right here to learn how to properly or how to get a message across to the Latino and Hispanic community. When I went to that seminar and I came back, I started right away. I started doing my marketing, I started doing my advertising, and one of the things that I would tell anybody that's in the same situation that I was, where you're just starting to get into this, I kind of learned by trial and error, and maybe this type of thing might save you a little bit of time and a little bit of money. One of the things that I really learned is if you're going to market to the Hispanic community, you have to make sure that you know where they come from. I'll give you a good example. I spent a lot of money, and I put out a promotion in the month of May. I did a big Cinco de Mayo sale. And it was on all the radios. I put it on TV. I made flyers. I put it in all the local supermarkets, and I did this big, huge Cinco de Mayo promotion, which fizzled. And I'm scratching my head, and I'm trying to figure out what did I do wrong? Well, after talking with some of my friends that own stores in Texas, they were like, well, that was a big promotion for us, but Cinco de Mayo, I come to find out, is more of a Mexican holiday than a Caribbean Hispanic holiday, such as from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, or even from Central America. So the message that I was trying to portray was totally lost. I could imagine them listening to the ads and giggling and saying, who's that dumb guy up there doing a Cinco de Mayo promotion? We don't do Cinco de Mayo. So the message that I would get out would be, one of the things I learned is do a little bit of research, and it doesn't have to be fancy. What I did was just talk to my customers that were coming in and out of the business. You know, found out where they were from, and then I kind of tweaked the marketing and the advertising, and I did it in such a way, which was a lot of help came from Cesar, was I started to go towards specific. There's a beautiful Dominican festival and parade here in the city of Providence. So I participated in that. Then they have a very large Puerto Rican festival. I participated in that. I learned a lot about the difference in the colors in the flag. I really learned a lot about what you say is not always what that person hears, depending on where they come from. There's a difference in the dialect. There's a difference in some of the meanings of the different words. It would be the way I like to compare it is, let's say we were talking to somebody from Alabama, and we lived in Boston. We speak the same language, but it's a totally, totally different message that they hear. You could say the same thing, and you could offend somebody if you don't say it correctly. So I learned a lot about that, and that's one of the things that I would tell you is, as you're searching for this and working with Latina FM and working with the people, make sure you're finding out where your customers are coming from, where your demographic is coming from, and try to tweak your message to that right there. The only other thing that I would probably say is, since I've done this, my business has probably increased 50% at least. Because it's not that my business increased, my business was the same. What increased was I added an additional segment to the population that I was not getting business from before, and that increased my business. One of the other things that I did is, and I learned through dealing with the customers coming in and out of the stores, is they're very loyal, like I said, and what helped me also was my staff. I started to look at and I started to hire people that spoke. I hired Latinos that spoke Spanish. So when the customers were calling into my business, they were able to be greeted that way. And even if a lot of the customers, and I would probably say 80% of my customers speak English perfectly well, if anybody comes from any family, I don't care where you come from, if you come from any family from another country, the language that is spoken in your home is your most comfortable language. So even though you can speak the other language, you always revert back to and speak the one that you're the most comfortable with. That's why I hired and brought in people and when I did that, all the customers that came in, there's a word, I forget the word, something like cousin. There's a word that they call everybody cousin. It's what? Primo. They call me other things, but they were calling the rest of the staff primo. And I know that made I started asking, what? They said, oh, cousin, like, are you their family? No, I don't even know them. But it's in that community, in that loyalty, that really made the difference. So this seminar right here, when Cesar asked me and he explained to me what they were trying to do, then I understood what I had to say would probably help, some of the people in the audience. It's a fantastic market. If you are not taking advantage or tapping into that market, in my opinion, it's a mistake. It is the fastest growing market, and it's really kind of catapulted my business. I started with Latina, doing marketing with them in 2005, I think, and in 2010, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with you, but in 2010, we were nominated and voted and won the #1 franchise in the United States for all of what we do. And that was as a result of from 2005 and all the marketing and all the different things that I learned and studied and went to school and learned on how to properly market. So that's basically what I would say is just learn it, understand it, and tweak, what you're doing. And you might not have to make all the mistakes that I made if you have the advantage of John and Cesar and this type of a seminar. All right? But thank you very much.